The full moon cast an eerie glow over the dark forest as I pedaled my bike down the winding dirt path. I was taking a shortcut through the woods to get home after hanging out with my friends, something I did often. But tonight felt different. The hooting owls and rustling leaves put me on edge. I shook off the creepy feeling and pedaled faster. The sooner I got out of these woods the better. But when I turned a corner, my bike hit a rock and I went flying over the handlebars. Ow, my arm. I cried out in pain, cradling my left arm. My bike lay mangled several feet away. Great, now I was stranded. As I struggled to my feet, a bone-chilling howl pierced the night air, making my blood run cold. Wolves. I had to get out of there. I grabbed my bike and tried to walk it along the path, but the front wheel was bent at an odd angle. With no other choice, I pressed onward on foot into the dark forest. The full moon filtered through the twisted branches overhead, casting moving shadows that played tricks on my eyes. I whipped my head back and forth at every little sound. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled as I felt unseen eyes watching me. Suddenly, a dark figure leapt out from the bushes and landed on the path in front of me. I jumped back with a yelp, heart pounding. In the dim light, I could make out what looked like a humanoid creature covered in coarse black fur, crouched on all fours. It was the size of a large dog, with glowing yellow eyes and a wolf-like snout. The creature stared at me and let out a vicious snarl, baring its fangs. My stomach dropped as I realized this was no ordinary wolf. Frozen in terror, I watched the beast creep toward me. I tried to back away slowly, but my legs gave out and I collapsed to the ground. The wolf creature stalked closer, ready to pounce. I closed my eyes and braced myself. But instead of tearing into me, the beast let out a whine. I opened my eyes to see it cowering away from something behind me. I looked over my shoulder and couldn't believe what I saw. A pale, ghostly woman in a white gown floated down the path toward us. Her eyes were black as night and she had long dark hair that writhed like shadowy tentacles. The wolf beast whimpered and retreated from the phantom woman. She passed right by me, exuding a deathly coldness that chilled me to my core. I watched in shock as the cryptid creature scurried away into the bushes. The ghost woman continued drifting down the path, as if in a trance. I seized the opportunity and jumped to my feet. I ran as fast as my shaking legs could carry me in the opposite direction. I didn't dare look back but could feel the phantom's presence giving chase close behind. The full moon illuminated my path just enough to keep me from tripping over rocks and branches. My lungs burned but I didn't stop running until the woods opened up and I stumbled onto the road by my neighborhood. Under the streetlights, I collapsed against a telephone pole, gasping for air. The ghost woman was nowhere in sight. I must have lost her, thank goodness. As I caught my breath, I spotted a road sign up ahead. I walked closer to get a look. My blood turned to ice when I read the words, "Welcome to Willow Creek, population 0. I whipped my head around, taking in my surroundings. The comfortable subdivision I knew was gone, replaced by empty lots covered in overgrown weeds. The lights I had seen earlier weren't street lamps but flickering fireflies. How was this possible? I had come through this same part of the woods dozens of times before without ending up in an abandoned town. Cold panic crept up my spine as the truth dawned on me, I was no longer in the world of the living. The ghost woman had led me out of the forest and into the netherworld. I was trapped in the phantom town of Willow Creek. Terror gripped me as I realized there was no escape. I didn't belong here among the dead. Frantically, I ran down the center of the street, unsure where to turn. Then I spotted a figure up ahead standing beneath a large oak tree, waving me over. As I drew closer, I saw it was a girl about my age in an old-fashioned dress. She had a sweet, friendly face that put me slightly at ease. "You shouldn't be here," the girl said in a hushed tone. "The spirits won't be happy about an outsider in Willow Creek. Please, you have to help me get home," I pleaded. "I was just passing through the woods and got lost." The girl's eyes filled with sadness. "None who wander into Willow Creek ever leave. But we must hide you before the hollow-eyed woman returns." I followed the girl down empty streets littered with decaying leaves. She led me to a crumbling brick house and opened the door to a small root cellar. "Wait here till dawn. You should be safe," she whispered. Before I could thank her, the ghost girl vanished right before my eyes. Shivering in the dark cellar, I huddled against the earthen wall. I prayed this nightmare would end at sunrise. The longer I sat there, the heavier the air felt, as if the ghosts of Willow Creek were gathering outside. Through the cracks in the wooden door, I glimpsed shadowy figures drifting aimlessly down the street. Their chorus of woeful moans chilled me to the core of my soul. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to silence their haunted cries in my mind. After what seemed like an eternity, a faint golden glow permeated the cellar. I lifted my head hopefully. Morning had come at last. The purge was over. I pushed open the rickety door and was met by sunlight streaming through the dead branches. The ghosts of Willow Creek had vanished with the coming dawn. Before I could feel relief, the phantom woman emerged from the misty woods. I recoiled at the sight of her empty black eyes. I turned and fled down the street. As I ran, the houses around me crumbled to dust. Looking back over my shoulder, I saw the ghost woman drifting after me while Willow Creek evaporated behind her. I spotted a dirt path cutting through the trees up ahead. I put on a burst of speed, my lungs screaming for air. I dashed into the forest, branches whipping against my face. I didn't stop until the trees opened up and I collapsed to my knees on the side of the familiar road near my neighborhood. I glanced back at the woods. No sign of the phantom or her ghost town. Willow Creek was gone, banished back to the realm of the dead by the rising sun. For a moment, I wondered if it had all been a twisted dream. But the scrapes and bruises on my arms were all too real. Shaken, I walked my broken bike home, grateful to see the living again. I vowed never to take that haunted forest shortcut ever again. Because sometimes the dead refuse to stay buried, especially on a full moon night.